We're in the mountains of Spain, glassing for Beceite Ibex. Oh, that was a pile driving. There's a ram over here on this side hill. It's a good macho. We have a very special hunt for you this week on Bowhunter TV. I am in the mountains of Spain, bowhunting for Beceite Ibex with Salva for Casa. Neil Summers of Bowhunting Safari Consultants arranged the hunt, and he joins me on an adventure which features a conclusion that borders on unbelievable. Well, we're in the mountains of Spain, near the town of Morello, southwest of Barcelona, glassing for Beceite Ibex. We are just getting started on our first day here, so glassed up our first Ibex and go look for some more, huh?
I think they stay down to the big pine zone. We have to go a little bit to the left because the wind is coming this direction. Okay, now let's walk from here slowly. Okay. You see black in the grass there. But do you prefer you go alone to try to shoot him? Yeah, if you are okay, better. Wind is perfect here. Be careful because there's a lot of animals there. Yeah, it is something. Can't go in these trees. This is a little bit left to the clear tree. You look the clear tree, right to the animal. Now we got this macho. Down here by a tree with no leaves. It looks like I got about another 75 yards to go. He's bent.
Our guide Soren, a native of Transylvania, Romania, was extremely familiar with the mountains and the Beceite Ibex, one of 4 species of ibex that inhabit the Iberian Peninsula. It wasn't long before Soren had me on my first stop, but now a word of clarification. You will hear me refer to the male ibex as rams. I initially called them billies and the females nannies, which are the correct terms. But it seemed like Soren didn't care much for those terms, so I called the billies rams or used the local term macho. I know, it confused me too.
The alarm bark. Now they're going up the hill. They got a swirl of wind or what the deal was, but I might have caught a glint of sunlight off of my gear, but the little one, the calf got up and then you got up and they all took off, but that's first stock on an Ibex in Spain. Awesome. Lots of cover, a little too much in some spots, but at least we got inside 60, so that's not too bad. I had 5 yards to get to some more cover, and she got me. That's the way stalking works. That was a blast.
We got a really big ram up here. He's acting like he's got a ewe, but we haven't seen her yet, so now we want to see her before we go around and make a stop, because if he has a ewe, according to Cyril, he'll stay there. If he doesn't have a ewe, then he could wander off by the time we get there.
Sí, un plato para cortar queso.
Lunch, Spanish style. Got the terraces, just saw a big macho ibex up here. And he split away from the ewes. Must want to be by himself for a while, so we're taking a break and having a lunch. And it's quite the lunch. Sardines, sausage, bread, wine, whatever you want.
This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Browning Trail Cameras. This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Spot Hog.
Even on this civilized hunt, there was rough terrain between villages and abandoned villas where the ibex fed on the flat terraces. The first day ended with lots of mature billies being spotted, but no shot opportunities.
It's a green bush.
Yes.
Down to this green bush, it's a small rock, white.
Okay, I
You
see.
see? And the right, 20 yards, now we walk into the right, the ibex, in the middle.
Seems like he's alone. Seems to have a purpose in his step. Yep, he's got a place he wants to be.
Well, they can cover some ground, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, you see that?
I'm trying to get this kind of low light, but they are just pounding each other.
Man, oh
You can-
man, oh man, oh man.
You can hear it over here when they hit. They're so distracted, we better get going so we can get over there while they're,
Yeah.
they're not gonna be paying attention to anything.
Look at them go. Holy smoke. Are you kidding me? How long will they fight? Until their heads get sore.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Oh, that was a pile drive.
I heard it.
There, yeah.
Actually, you can hear it from here.
Someone, blood here in the face, and
Yeah, we just started glassing this morning and we watched this one macho go around the corner, and next thing you know, another one pops up, and now they're just beating each other to a frazzle.
Just like bighorn sheep, huh? Way up in the air and then crack.
We gotta go.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Dead On with Randy Ulmer.
You know, I grew up bow hunting here in the Rocky Mountain West, and most of our shots when we were hunting were either uphill or downhill or on a side hill, and those are exactly the kind of shots where you need a level on your bow sight. And back then, none of the sights had a level. As a matter of fact, I shot competition in the bowhunter class in the NFAA. They wouldn't even allow us to use a level. It was against the rules, and I missed a lot of shots to the right or left, and I wasn't even really sure why. Well, when I started shooting competitive field archery in 3D tournaments, it started to dawn on me that I was canting my bow a little different from shot to shot, and that I needed a level on my sight to fix it. And all the shooting that I've done in the mountains since then has reinforced to me that if I want to shoot to the best of my ability, I have to have a level on my sight. Now, this doesn't matter a whole lot if you're shooting relatively close shots on flat ground, but it's really important if you're shooting longer shots in the mountains. And a level really only does one thing. It helps you keep your bow in the same position vertically for every shot. Now, you notice that I didn't say that it keeps your bow perfectly vertical on every shot, because that's not important, even though most people will tell you that it's really important. It's okay to cant your bow as long as you can it the same way on every shot. As a matter of fact, in all the competition that I've done, I've always canted my bow. A lot of bow hunters don't want to use a level because they say they don't remember to look at it when they're shooting at a deer. But the point is that even if you never look at your level when you're shooting at an animal, if you use it all the time when you're practicing, it'll teach you to hold your bow the same way every shot. So just by habit, you're going to end up holding it the same on your hunting shots. Now, level becomes absolutely mandatory if you're going to be shooting long shots in the mountains. You're going to have a really hard time keeping your arrow in the kill zone if you don't use a level. So here's the bottom line. If you're a whitetail hunter and you're going to be hunting in the Midwest and most of your shots are going to be relatively close, you really don't need a level on your sight. But if you're going to go to the Rocky Mountains and you're going to be making longer shots, 30 to 40 yards in the mountains, you really need to put a level on your bow sight, and you need to use it.
This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Tinks. This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Hoyt.
It was Neil's turn to stalk, but we made a tactical error in this situation. We were so mesmerized by watching the two billies battle that we didn't get moving quick enough. Very seldom can you count on a big game animal to continue any sort of action for a long period of time. These two billies quit fighting and simply walked away before we could get there. Had we taken off right away, there may have been a different outcome.
We got right in below them. I could see the horn tips, but it took us 35, 40 minutes to get across the canyon, and they just stopped and walked off. So we'll just kind of hang out here and then peek over the edge and make a new plan.
Where one stalk doesn't pan out, another awaits. We were off looking for more ibex, and they weren't difficult to find. Although we didn't know the difference, it was unusually warm for the first week in December in Spain. Highs were in the 70s, which reduced daytime movement of the ibex. Still, it seemed every place we stopped the glass, we found ibex.
The SEAL team got one spotted up here, so we're gonna scope it out. We're kind of on this super old, it's gotta be a super old village. Got sheep down here with bells on them, but we're looking for a ram up here. Okay, we got a pretty good macho ram down here with some females, and they're just kind of grazing along, and it's not that far of a walk, so the wind's a little spooky, but we're gonna make an attempt. Try to get after them. Ready?
Okay, we got them located and everything, so
Yeah,
we're gonna go now.
from
the wind's going this way. We're gonna go back down around, take that back terrace, then come up over the wall if he's still there. The group just ran off. They saw some movement here and when we were in the shade. And they're about 60 yards away. And they just ran across that opening over there. They're a little bit spooked, but not bad. We're gonna reposition and see if we can see him again. There's a pretty good male in there.
These ibex caught our wind and left the valley, but it didn't take long before we were back into more ibex, and Neil got close to a couple of nice machos. He got caught in the open, however, and if you listen closely, you can hear the alarm whistle of the ibex. Translated into English, that means we're out of here.
This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Rage Broadheads. This segment of Bowhunter is brought to you by Block Vault.
Okay, we actually have a team of about 4 or 5 guys out glassing, and they let us know there's a ram over here on this side hill where we were yesterday at lunch, and we're just glassing it now, trying to figure out how to make a move on it. It's a good macho.
You think? Yeah, okay.
Sounds like we're gonna go to the village of Villabona and walk this side hill here. It's gonna be a pretty good hike, but in the meantime, the other guys are gonna keep an eye on them, so hopefully we can zero in on them.
We started hiking terraces back towards the bedded ibex. I was in awe of the workmanship of the 1,000-year-old terrace walls. Exactly who built these terraces is unclear. Some believe it was the Moors from North Africa who ruled Spain from 711 to 1492. All I know is the terraces were great for stalking. Wisely, Soren had memorized the single bush the ibex were bedded next to, and he put me on the exact spot.
Right by that bush there.
He's bleeding a lot. Well, I messed that shot up. They were bedded at 30. Got up, looked at us. All I could see was alarms. And then they bolted and ran little ways, and I added 10 yards. I should have only added 5. Shot him for 40, and I hit him high. A lot of blood right away, but it's high through the scapula. So we're gonna have to wait him out. Probably get back up there after him somewhere, but he's bleeding pretty good. That's all we can hope for.
After a discussion with the guides over lunch, we were in full-on recovery mode and willing to do anything necessary to retrieve the ibex.
We're above where that ibex went in. He's in these yellow trees. They're gonna bring in a dragon dog. And I've always been a proponent of dragon dogs. They should be legal in the United States. Once the arrow is gone, fair chase is over. So everything possible and legal should be done to recover that animal. We're just trying to get up here and get ahead of them, and you're gonna follow the trail with the dragon dog.
As the tracking dogs closed in, the ibex was up and moving. Within seconds, it ran past me straight below the cliff I was standing on.
Shoot.
At this point, any shot is a good shot. So I took the running shot, hitting the billy in the hind quarter. That caused him to head downhill.
You hit him. I don't know where. He was moving pretty good, but I took the shot because he's already wounded, you know.
After a quick discussion, Soren and I dropped off the cliff in hot pursuit. Unfortunately, my cameraman lagged behind just long enough to miss the specific crevices we were able to drop into to get to the next level. He couldn't keep up with the camera and tripod, so that's where his video ends. Well, here's my ibex. It got real western, we call it in the business. I made a bad hit initially, let him bed down, and we got the tracking dog on it. We got up, was kind of spread out above him, in front of him, and he come running by me, took another shot, and then he got down to the end there, and the trackers got him bait up, and I got down there and finished him off. You know, that's kind of the bad thing about making a bad shot, but we didn't have to resort to the rifle, which I was worried about, and we got him. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And Neil, thank you.
No problem.
You know, Bowhunting Safari Consultants has put us on a lot of adventures, and this is one of the best. You guys come on in here too. Come on in here. The trackers. These guys had the tracking dog, and they made it possible. They all kept track of the Ibex from distance, told us where he was going, and then they got the dog on him. And the two dogs, they did a great job, stayed right on this Ibex. And without these guys, none of this would have happened. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Okay, so let me fill in some gaps. Unbelievably, when the billy headed downhill, it ended up in a 15-foot deep cave in the side of the cliff. I was forced to shoot a finishing arrow into the Ibex. It went down and we thought it was over, but when the trackers entered the cave, the dog got loose and the macho came alive. It tried to kill the dog, then charged the trackers. George, the one in the white shirt, who was also filming with his iPhone, jumped on top of the billy's back and tackled him. Two more Spaniards piled on and the Ibex quickly expired. Now that's not how it's supposed to work, but it's the most incredible recovery I've ever been a part of. Again, I would like to thank Neil Summers and Bowhunting Safari Consultants. If you're planning an international hunt, you really need to enlist their services if you hope to have a good experience. You can find their contact information at bowhunter.com. Thanks for being here, and I can guarantee you on our next big game recovery, it will not be quite so adventurous.